We're gonna save you and us a whole lot of time today.
We're gonna tell you why you shouldn't go house hunting until you figure out what city you want to be in first.
We're getting started right now. So we get a lot of people watching our YouTube videos from all over the United States, even outside the country for that matter. And I'm sure this goes for pretty much any area in Florida. They'll see videos and they'll think, okay, wow, this is it. I like this place, this is amazing. This is where I wanna be. And so they start the house hunting process. And then she's a realtor, and she gets to deal with the next situation, kind of, but it's also like a problem for the buyer too. I think they have to deal with this. It's like, it's not a very pleasant outcome, maybe not process, but outcome for either side.
Yeah, so if you don't know what city or at least what areas you would want to be in, you have a very broad area. So like you want to maybe be like more like near Orlando or down by Cape Coral or the Panhandle. So if you have like multiple areas that you want to be in, and in each area you want to go and you want to look at homes just because you want to make the most out of your time here, which is completely understandable. It's just going to be a waste of your time, the realtor's time, just because you don't know where you want to be. Maybe you haven't been to those areas before. You're not going to have enough time to go house hunting and go and experience the city or the town that you think you might want to be in. So you're wasting your own time and money by doing that because you're not going to get the most out of your trip here. What we always tell people is you want to come down, have enough time so that you can drive around, experience the city, live like a local for the few days that you are here. Just because if you don't do that, you really don't know what you're getting yourself into.
I think an important thing to look at when you're doing this, we kind of talked about this in another video, we'll link it in the description, but look at it as like a funnel, right? You have a broad level view, okay, maybe these are the different possibilities of cities and areas of Florida I would want to be in. Then you kind of figure out, okay, these are for sure contender cities. And then from there, you maybe narrow it down to one, maybe two, and then you start talking more, micro with the house. Early in the process, though, of course, you're going to want to have an idea of, what kind of neighborhoods there are, what do the schools look like, some of the kind of city things, but then also the house cost is going to be important too. But you want to look at those things, I think, more at a surface level at that point in the game when you're at the top of the funnel. Just, okay, maybe go on Zillow or listings that she's sending you and take a look at this is what's out there just to get an idea. But it's not really going to be super advantageous at that point of the buying process or the discovery process to like go into a whole bunch of open houses, because really you're looking at an open house and like, oh, I would do or I don't want this house, and you don't even know if you like the city for sure.
Yes.
Like some people have decided that they want to live in Venice and they haven't even been here, and this has happened actually a fair amount because they just watch our videos and like, this looks amazing, and we try to show the pros and cons, and some of those cons, until you're there in person, you just don't get it,
or you don't think it's going to be a big deal, and until you're there in person it's like, oh my gosh, this is a big deal, I don't think I can live here. The way I tell people to do it is I can set you up on listings, like that's not a problem at all. You can kind of like price shop different areas, so compare, okay, what do I get for my money in Northport, Venice, maybe even Cape Coral or anywhere else, and then start narrowing it down from there. So price, what do you get for your money? And then go into like areavibesniche.com and just type in the city name, and you can get livability scores, crime, schools, how good the school district is, all those things. So like before you even come to the city, you already kind of know, okay, this is a good area, this is a sketchy area, I don't want to be there. So you're narrowing it down that way. And then also when you're here, you can kind of like compare what you read online, because you can't just 100% believe what's online, right? So like when you're here, if you still want to check out, like an area that's not that great, you can still check it out, just because it will have pockets that maybe it's not so rough and it's not so bad. But once you're here, you're like, okay, I definitely don't want to be in this area. And if you don't, like if you reach out to a realtor and you're like, hey, like, can you set this, listings for me so that I can go see them in person when I'm there? When you get there, you go look at the homes, and then you do a little more driving around, and it's like, okay, no, I really don't want to be there. So you just now wasted your time your money and that realtor's time as well, because maybe you don't even want to purchase in that area.
Yeah, I think the two things, an exception to this maybe, and then a quick and dirty version basically of that funnel. Top level, try to get an idea of the cities you want to be in, and a lot of that's going to happen online.
Yes.
Do your research with niche, like you said, area vibes, watching YouTube videos, not just people talking, like videos like we'll do ones where we'll drive you through different neighborhoods and things like that, so you can kind of like get the benefit almost of being in the city without being in the city. And then once you start to narrow down on your city a little more, then you probably want to actually go to the city or cities that you're looking at, drive around, get a sense for them, and then maybe within that trip you might be able to squeeze in some open houses. But again, that would be something like towards the end of the trip, I would say.
Yes.
And that's the kind of quick and dirty version. One exception I would say to this whole process is if you've already been to Venice or a city or something in the past, and you're like, okay, I just love this city, I want to be here. Okay, you could probably skip a lot of those previous steps. You just maybe happen to come here on vacation, you're like, yep, now I'm going to live here. Then you can maybe bypass a lot of that stuff. As always, if you want to learn more about living in Venice and pretty much all the areas around us, we have links for playlists in the description down below. Right here is a playlist specifically for Venice, Florida. And if you know you want to live in Venice or one of the surrounding areas,
make sure to call, text, or email me. I am a local realtor here, and we'll definitely love to help you and show you some listings if you know Venice is the area for you.
Make sure you hit all those buttons that you're seeing down below. Leave a comment, let us know your questions or thoughts, and live breezy.